Welcome to the channel Darkness in the Night. Tonight, let me tell you a story about a vengeful spirit that haunts an old dormitory of the Vietnam National University in Hanoi. They say that every Mid-Autumn festival, when the moonlight shines on the abandoned rooftop, a sorrowful cry echoes from the year 1990. But this year, someone dares to break that forbidden silence. Autumn in Hanoi brings a chilly breeze. Wind sweeps through the dorm halls, carrying a faint scent of incense. In the courtyard, a few students are preparing for the lantern parade. Lan, a first-year literature student, holds a star-shaped lantern. Smiling brightly. "Hey Min, did you bring the candles? Let me light one to warm things up." Min waves, a plastic bag full of mooncakes dangling from his hand. "Got everything. Tonight we'll celebrate the old school way. True literature student style." Their friends tease. "Literature my foot, more like summoning ghosts. I heard someone once hanged themselves in this yard." Lan glances toward the far corner, where an old stone stele stands, its letters worn away. "Stop scaring us. It's mid-autumn, not ghost month." Drums echo from afar, blending with laughter. The full moon glows so bright they can see every leaf clearly. The group spreads a mat, sets out mooncakes, and pours tea. Someone turns on a children's song from their phone. The melody fills the courtyard, cheerful yet strangely off-key. Lan suddenly shivers. "Wait, do you hear that? Why is the song warping like that?" Min chuckles. "Probably bad signal, don't worry." But the singing continues, slower now, as if another voice has joined in. Each word drags long and heavy. "Carry the lantern. Star of light. Moon shining bright." Everyone falls silent. The sound no longer comes from the phone. It comes from the corner where the old stele stands. Min frowns. "Hey, turn that off. Don't mess around." Lan rises, her hand trembling around the lantern. "I didn't turn it on, it's singing by itself." A gust of wind spins the lantern wildly, casting stretched shadows across the wall. In that moment, Lan sees someone standing by the stele, a small figure, hair loose, wearing white. She grips Min's arm. "There, someone's there, look." Min turns, but the spot is empty. "There's no one, you're just seeing things." Lan inhales sharply, voice shaking. "I swear I saw a girl in a white dye, her hair covering her face." Another student mutters. "Maybe someone from the tourism department taking graduation photos." "Relax, let's just eat." They laugh uneasily, trying to act normal, opening mooncakes, sipping tea. Yet Lan still feels a chill down her spine, as if someone's standing right behind her. A while later, Min flips open an old notebook and grins. "I found a mid-autumn ghost prayer online. Let's read it for fun." Lan frowns. "Stop it, that's not something to joke about." But Min begins reading, strange, ancient words mixed with the whistling wind. The language sounds old, older than any of them know. As he finishes the last line, the lantern in Lan's hand flickers out. Silence. Then, a faint sigh from somewhere nearby. "Who dares call my name?" Lan drops her lantern, heart pounding. "Did you hear that? Someone just spoke." Min's face turns pale. I heard it too." A sudden gust tears through the courtyard. Mooncakes scatter, crumbling on the ground. Above them, the moon glows blood red. Lan stepped back, her foot pressing against something soft. She looked down and saw an old, yellowed student photo marked with the year 1990. In the picture stood a girl wearing a white dye, her eyes sunken and hollow. The writing underneath was smudged, only 2 letters remained visible, Nguyen H. Lan whispered. "Nguyen H, who could that be?" From the corner of the courtyard came a soft, chilling voice. "It's me." Lan looked up. The girl in white was standing right in front of her, her face pale as paper. Blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. Lan screamed, stumbling backward and falling to the ground. Min grabbed her arm, trembling. "Run, Lan, run now." The group scattered, shouting, sprinting down the dormitory hallway. Their footsteps echoed off the walls, mixing with sobs that rose behind them. "Return, my justice?" Lan glanced back and saw the white shadow gliding along the wall, swift as the wind. Each light they passed exploded with a asterisk pop, plunging the corridor into darkness. A raspy whisper brushed against Lan's ear. "Lan, you know me?" She froze as her wrist was yanked backward. A hand, ice cold, clamped tightly around her arm. Her skin burned from the chill, the cold sinking deep into her chest. "Please, let me go? I didn't mean to." Her voice quivered. "Didn't mean to, but you called me back." The voice echoed everywhere, through the walls, the ceiling, the air itself. The whole place felt frozen in time. Lan screamed, tearing free from the unseen grip, and ran toward the dormitory door. But it was locked. Min pounded on it, shouting, "Open up, somebody help us." Silence. Only the rusty creak of the hinges answered. Lan collapsed to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Please, open the door?" Then, from behind them, came slow, deliberate footsteps, one by one, drawing closer. "You have eaten my cakes?" The dormitory door remained still. Lan and Min huddled in the dark, the only sound the wind whistling through the crack beneath the door. Lan trembled, her eyes red. "Min, did you see her? That girl, she just spoke to me." Min swallowed hard, trying to steady his voice. "I saw her. She looked right at me. Those eyes, they were terrifying. But where is she now?" Lan glanced around. Moonlight filtered through the window, spilling across the long, desolate hallway. The walls were stained and peeling, the cracked plaster looking like claw marks. From far away, slow, echoing footsteps began, steady, rhythmic, drawing closer with every beat. Lan gripped Min's hand tightly. "She's back." A shadow emerged from the far end of the corridor, walking slowly toward them. Her long black hair was dripping wet, drops falling onto the cold tile floor. Min pulled Lan against the wall, his heartbeat loud in his ears. "Don't look, don't breathe." The footsteps stopped right in front of them. The white figure bent down, her voice broken and hollow. "Who called me back?" Lan bit her lip and whispered, "No, we didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Call, and you must pay." The voice was cold, like wind through a graveyard. A pale hand slowly lifted and touched the wall. At once, blood began to spread, forming words. The letters appeared, one by one. "Return the justice. Nguyen H. 1990. Min backed away, sweat dripping down his forehead. "Nguyen H. I remember now. The seniors said a girl named Huyen was bullied to death in this wing. The school erased all the records, pretended she never existed." Lan whispered, "So, it's her." The air grew thick and heavy. The wind stopped, only the faint smell of burnt incense lingered. Then Lan noticed a strange glow on the ground, markings forming a circle around the old steel. "Min, look, that looks like some kind of charm or seal." Min crouched down, shining his phone's flashlight. The weak light illuminated the steel's surface. Carved into it were faint ancient Vietnamese Nam characters, barely legible but still there. "Whoever recites the prayer on the night of the full moon shall awaken the wronged spirit, and she will seek the one who called her name." Min inhaled sharply. "Lan, it was me. I read that line earlier. That means, she's after me." Lan panicked. "No, there has to be a way to seal it back. You study electrical engineering, right? You must know something about energy circles." Min's voice cracked. "I know about electromagnetic fields. Not this spiritual stuff." The wind howled again, rattling the windows violently. The flashlight flickered, then died. In the darkness, a girl's whisper came right beside Lan's ear. "Don't hide. I know where you are." Lan burst into tears. "Please forgive us. You were wronged, weren't you? Let me help you." The white shadow stepped closer. Under the moonlight, her face became clear, sunken black eyes and a twisted smile. "If you want to help, find my name, don't let it fade." Then her form dissolved into smoke. Silence fell once more. Lan gasped, her hands shaking. Min slumped to the floor. "She said to find her name, what does that mean?" Lan looked at the photo still clutched in her hand, the letters smudging further under her sweat. "Nguyen H, the rest is gone. There must be a way to reveal it." They returned to the courtyard, where the stele stood under the dim, cloud-covered moon. Lan reached out to touch it, the stone was icy cold. Before her eyes, the letter, H, began to move, blood seeping from its carved line. Min shone his light. "Maybe it's Huyen, or Ha, or Han. How can we know?" Lan whispered. "I once heard the janitor mention a girl named Huyen, literature student in 1990 who was forced to leave after being cruelly humiliated." Suddenly, a gust of wind snuffed out the light. A wailing cry echoed across the courtyard. "No one believed me, they laughed when I died, they laughed." Lan covered her ears, tears streaming down. "Huyen, I believe you. Please, stop crying, tell me what to do. Blood, only blood, can erase the curse." The whisper sent a chill through both their spines. Min staggered backward. "She wants blood? She wants to kill someone? The ones who mocked me are already dead. Now, the one who spoke my prayer must pay." Min panicked, shouting, "No, I didn't mean to. Please forgive me." Lan tried to pull him away, but something clamped around his ankle. He fell hard, dragged across the floor, his hands scraping against the tiles. Lan grabbed him, screaming, "Let him go, please don't." The wind roared, dust swirling in every direction. Lan squeezed her eyes shut and shouted into the storm. "Huyen, you were a literature student, you loved poetry. Listen to me, let me recite a poem to help your soul find peace." Her trembling voice rose, steady and clear. The full moon casts its sorrowed gleam. A restless soul still haunts her dream. "I pray this night your pain will cease. Let blood and tears now turn to peace." As the last word left her lips, the wind stopped. Everything fell silent. Lan opened her eyes to see Min lying motionless, his face pale. She shook him desperately. "Min, wake up." Min whispered faintly. "She's inside my head," she said, "it's not over." Lan wept. "We have to get out, now." She helped Min to his feet, and they staggered toward the dorm gate. The door that had been locked before now creaked open by itself. They ran through, just as the bell struck midnight. The sky cleared, the full moon shining down on the empty courtyard. The old stele still stood, but the blood letters were gone. In their place, a new line was freshly carved. "You remembered my name, but the debt is not yet paid, asterisk." Lan froze, clutching the old photograph. She understood, this was not the end. After that night, Lan returned to her rented room. Still trembling, she couldn't stop dreaming of the dorm courtyard, of the drenched stone stele, of the words asterisk, debt not yet repaid, asterisk burning in her mind. The next morning, Min texted her. "I couldn't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I hear crying. Do you hear it too?" Lan stared at the phone, exhaling slowly. "I do, but maybe it's just trauma." She tried to study, but her thoughts were scattered. Every literature page blurred, the letters twisting out of shape. That afternoon, Lan decided to return to the university, alone. The campus was empty. Autumn wind swept through the trees, dry leaves crunching underfoot. The old stone stele still stood there, silent, unmoving. Lan stared at it for a long moment, an indescribable dread rising inside her. "Huyen, if you were truly wronged, I'll find the truth, I promise." She spoke softly, as if making a vow. Night fell quickly. After showering, Lan stood before the bathroom mirror, brushing her hair. The light was dim, steam clung to the glass. She wiped the mirror and saw her pale face, dark circles under her eyes. Suddenly, the light flickered. Click. The bulb blinked rapidly. Lan froze, heart pounding. The dim glow reflected her image, but for a split second, another figure stood behind her. She spun around. The bathroom was empty. Lan inhaled sharply, trying to steady herself. It's fine, I'm just imagining things. She turned back, but the reflection hadn't caught up. The shadowy figure was still there. Lan gasped, backing against the wall. No, this can't be. The bulb went out completely. Only the moonlight from the window spilled faintly across the floor. Water dripped from the shower head, each drop echoing like footsteps. She whispered between shaky breaths. Calm down, it's nothing, just your mind playing tricks. Lan turned on her phone flashlight. The beam landed on the mirror. A long red streak appeared, slowly running downward like paint. Her hand shook. She reached to wipe it, and a faint metallic scent hit her nose. Blood, or paint? Looking closer, she realized the color came from her own hand. She'd reopened a cut from that night. Lan let out a nervous laugh. Oh God, I scared myself to death. She bent down to wash her hands, but when she looked up again, words had appeared on the fogged mirror, written by a wet fingertip. I'm still here, asterisk. Lan screamed, dropping her phone. The screen shattered against the tile. Then came 3 slow knocks on the bathroom door. Knock, knock, knock. Lan's voice shook. Who's there? Stop messing around. No reply. Only the cold draft slipping through the crack beneath the door. She opened the bathroom door cautiously. The room was dark. All the lights were out. The window gaped open, curtains billowing wildly. Lan stepped out, glass crunching underfoot, her heel sliced by shards. A thin trail of blood following her. Then, her phone lit up on its own, though the battery was dead. A new message appeared. Find the truth, otherwise, no one will believe, asterisk. Lan stared at it, her pulse racing. Who sent this? No number, just the sender name, anonymous. The clock read exactly midnight. Outside, the full moon hung high in the sky. Wind howled through the window, long and mournful, like someone crying. Lan sat down on her bed, clutching her head. What am I afraid of, the ghost, or myself? She opened her laptop and searched online, asterisk, Nguyen Huyen student 1990. An old archive loaded, only a few lines visible. Asterisk, literature student found dead in dormitory. Cuz. Suicide due to academic pressure. Lan reread the lines, whispering. No, that's not true. It was bullying. She scrolled down. At the bottom was a hidden anonymous comment. Asterisk, they lied. I saw everything. She clicked the profile, access denied. When she lifted her head, she saw the bathroom mirror reflected in her laptop screen. The faint word asterisk, det, asterisk was still visible on the glass. Lan walked toward the mirror. Her fingertips met the cold surface. The glass quivered, as if someone on the other side touched back. She stared into her own eyes and whispered, I will find the truth, even if I have to face my greatest fear. Turning away, she stepped out into the night. Outside, the moon glowed pale red over the dormitory buildings. Behind her, the bathroom door slowly closed. And in the mirror, a faint figure stood watching, silent. Saigon was in its dry season, yet the night air still burned with heat. Beneath the sickly yellow glow of a street lamp, a group of college students gathered behind the dormitory. La Hoang Nam, a third-year electrical engineering student known for his viral paranormal challenges on TikTok, clapped his hands. All right, you guys ready? Tonight's challenge. Mid-autumn mooncake party inside the abandoned lab. Hang laughed nervously. Are you insane, Nam? That lab caught fire years ago. No one dares go near it. Nam grinned. That's what makes it perfect. The scarier it is, the more views we get. Tan, the cameraman, adjusted his camera with a smirk. I'm down, as long as it gets views. But what if something actually happens? Nam snapped his fingers. Then we film it. Don't worry, I've got this. They packed mooncakes, paper lanterns, a few cans of soda, and a camera rig with a flashlight. Outside, the city was alive with dragon dances and drums. But inside the campus grounds, it was eerily quiet. The group reached the old lab building, tucked deep behind the engineering block. Rusted metal doors bore a fading sign. Materials Chemistry Lab, closed since 1985, *. Nam switched on his flashlight, its white beam cutting through layers of dust. Tan muttered, "This place gives me the creeps. Watch out for rats." Hang scoffed, "Rats I can handle. Snakes, not so much." Their laughter echoed strangely, bouncing down the empty corridor. Nam inhaled deeply and pushed open the largest door. It groaned long and low. Inside was pitch dark, the air thick with mold and stale chemicals. Broken test tubes and dusty jars littered the benches, while a tall iron cabinet stood locked in the corner. Nam shone his light over it and read the faded label. "Property, do not open, *. His eyes lit up. "Hey, look at that, now that's interesting." Hang's voice wavered. "Nam, stop, there's a reason it's locked." Nam laughed, grabbing a metal rod. "What's forbidden is what's worth filming." Tan panned the camera toward him, the light catching Nam's eager face. "Just don't break anything, man." Nam jammed the rod under the lock. With a loud clang, the latch snapped open. He pulled the door wide. Inside was a white porcelain urn painted with blue flowers. A yellowed label clung to its lid. *, do not move, *. Silence. Hang shuddered. What if it's toxic waste or something? Nam brushed off the dust. "No, it's light, probably empty." He lifted it and shook gently. Something rattled inside. Tan zoomed in. "What's in there?" Nam twisted the lid. A puff of gray dust burst out, spreading through the beam of light. They coughed violently. Hang covered her mouth. "Oh God, is that ash?" Nam waved the air away, forcing a laugh. "Probably just old powder, years of decay." But when the light hit the table, they froze. Inside the urn were tiny, broken bone fragments. No one spoke. Tan whispered, "Nam, that looks like ashes." Nam's throat went dry. "Come on, human ashes in a lab? Impossible. Probably burnt chemicals." He set the urn down and forced a grin. "Forget it, let's just film the challenge." They spread newspaper on the floor, placing the mooncakes and tea. Hang's hands trembled as she unwrapped a cake, glancing nervously at the urn. "Nam, please, just close it." Nam raised his phone, filming. "Mid-autumn night, haunted lab challenge, let's go." Suddenly, the flashlight flickered, the camera emitted a faint static buzz. A metallic clink echoed from somewhere in the dark, like fingers tapping steel. Tan spun around. "Nam, did you hear that?" Nam nodded, pretending calm. "Probably rats. Relax." The tapping grew louder, rhythmic, deliberate. Hang dropped her mooncake. "I told you, something's wrong." Nam stepped forward, flashlight aimed toward the sound. A small back door at the far end quivered slightly, as if someone was pushing from the other side. He swallowed. "All right, I'll check it out." He opened it. The storage room beyond was empty, blanketed in dust, but black scorch marks streaked the wall. He turned, forcing a shaky grin. "See? Nothing." A sharp crack. They all turned. The porcelain urn had toppled from the table and shattered on the floor. Ash scattered everywhere. Tan dropped the camera, shouting, "Nam, you see that?" Nam stood frozen, lips dry. On the tabletop, the ash had settled into a perfect circle. And in the center, a single handprint had appeared. No one said a word. Wind howled through the rusted doors. The flashlight blinked twice, then went out. The entire room plunged into darkness. The room was swallowed in thick darkness. The smell of ash, burnt metal, and damp air mixed together, making Hang gag. Tan switched on a backup flashlight. Its weak yellow glow barely illuminated the rusted lab benches. "Nam," he stammered. "Do something. The floor's shaking." Nam looked down. The dust and ash at his feet were swirling faintly. "It's just old machinery humming. Let's get out of here." But then, a soft click echoed from the corner. A low asterisk whir asterisk followed, like an ancient motor sputtering to life. An old ceiling fan, long detached and leaning against the wall, began turning slowly, without power. Hang gasped and stumbled back. "Nam, did you see that? It's spinning." Nam gripped his flashlight tightly. "It's just the wind. Calm down." Tan's hands trembled as he filmed. The camera lens caught the metal switches on a control panel flipping on by themselves. The old neon lights flickered, once, twice, then briefly lit the room before dying again. In that stuttering light, they saw pliers, soldering irons, and an ancient drill press begin to vibrate on their own. Hang clutched Nam's arm. "Don't tell me, it's running by itself?" Nam tried to sound rational, though sweat poured down his forehead. "Capacitor discharge. Some old circuits can hold residual charge for years." Tan gave a nervous laugh. "Funny, sounds more like black magic than physics." Nam didn't reply. He walked toward the main control board, reaching for the breaker switch. The moment his fingers touched it, the switch flipped up by itself with a sharp snap. Instantly, the room shuddered, machines whirred. The drill press roared to life, the bit spinning at full speed with a piercing metallic scream. The ceiling fan crashed to the floor and rolled toward Hang's feet. She screamed, falling backward, her hands slamming against a metal bench. The screeching of metal against metal filled the air, a violent, unbearable noise. Tan panned the camera wildly. "Turn it off. Nam, turn everything off." Nam crouched by the outlet, yanking at the power cord, but it wouldn't budge. It felt glued in place. Smoke began to rise from the sockets, carrying the stench of burning wires. A sudden gust of cold wind swept through. The door slammed shut behind them. From outside came the sound of the lock clicking tight. Hang pounded on the metal door, sobbing. "Somebody help us, please." Nam shouted, "Stay calm, I'll call security." He pulled out his phone, but the screen was blank white. No signal, no connection. Tan slowly backed into the corner, camera still rolling. "Nam, look, the welding arm, it's glowing." From the far wall came flashes of blue light. A rusted robotic arm was moving, sparks flying from its corroded tip. Nam whispered, "That's impossible, there's no power source." The arm swung upward, rotating as if searching for something. Sparks struck the metal table, sizzling loudly. The three huddled together, hearts pounding. Then another sound cut through the chaos. Clack, clack, clack. A steady tapping, rhythmic, deliberate. From the broken wall speaker came a distorted voice. "Return the Zhu Tice?" Hang covered her ears, sobbing. "Nam, someone's pranking us, I want to leave." Nam's face was drained of all color. "It's interference, radio feedback," he said, but his voice was hollow, unsure. The voice on the speaker echoed again, deeper now, as if from miles away, or from decades past. They gathered in the center of the room, the single flashlight casting eerie shadows on their faces. Machines whined and growled around them, like a mechanical symphony spiraling into madness. Nam tightened the strap on his backpack. "We're leaving, through the back exit. Move." They crawled between the lab tables, avoiding the tangled cords and flickering sparks. Hang led the way, stepping through a pile of ash that smeared across the floor in long streaks. Tan filmed even as he shook, the lens catching the spot where the porcelain urn once stood. There, the ashes had gathered into the shape of a deep, clear handprint. Each time the light swept over it, the hand seemed to quiver faintly. Tan swallowed hard. Nam, that handprint? Nam pulled his sleeve. Don't look, just go. They reached the rear door, just as the fire alarm blared to life. Red lights flashing wildly. Bulbs popped and burst one after another in bright explosions. The trio stumbled out, collapsing onto the damp concrete outside. The machines fell silent, only heat and smoke drifted from the shattered doorway. Inside, darkness swallowed everything again. Hang gasped for breath. Nam, what did we just see? Nam hunched over, panting, staring at his phone. On the screen played the footage from earlier, the moment he opened the urn. But this time, there was something else. A fourth figure stood behind him, half shrouded in the swirling ash. No one spoke. Outside, the sound of festival drums echoed faintly, mixing with their ragged breathing. Nam turned off the phone, mumbling, "It's probably just a lighting glitch." But Tan shook his head, voice trembling. "No, Nam, I've filmed for years. No glitch makes a shadow move against the light." Silence fell. The night wind carried the smell of scorched metal. And up on the lab's rooftop, the broken ceiling fan spun one last slow, creaking turn, then stopped. The next morning, Nam woke to the noise of students outside the dorm. Sweat drenched his back. He grabbed his phone, ready to rewatch last night's footage. But in his gallery, only one file remained. A large video titled ***, signal _ 1985 MP4, ***. Nam frowned. That's weird, I didn't name it that. He pressed play. The first frames showed the same lab, ashes still floating in the air. But halfway through, when the camera panned across Nam's face, the screen glitched. Across the static appeared a message. "Return justice to me, ***. Nam froze. His hands trembled, heart hammering. Then his phone emitted a strange noise, faint static, like electrical feedback. **RZZ, RZZ, click. Panicking, he tossed the phone onto the bed. The screen went black, leaving only moonlight spilling through the window. The door creaked open. Tan and Hang stepped in. "You up yet, Nam? Have you seen the news?" Nam looked up. "What news?" Hang handed him her phone, her voice shaking. "Our clip's gone viral. It's everywhere, TikTok, engineering forums, people say it's haunted." Nam stared at the screen. In the reposted video, the image was clearer than their original. Beside Nam stood the figure of a man in an old lab coat, staring straight into the camera. It wasn't a reflection, it wasn't a trick of light. Tan whispered, "I didn't film that, the frame was added afterward. Somehow." Nam took a long breath. "No way, someone's messing with us." But deep down, his logic was crumbling. He remembered the porcelain urn, the burn marks on the wall, the voice from the speaker. None of it felt like coincidence. That night, the three decided to return to the lab, this time with new phones and high-powered lights. Hang protested endlessly, but Nam was firm. "If we don't go back, people will think we faked it. I want to find the truth." The campus was silent under the night sky. Wind drifted through the old building like a sigh. The lab door was still locked, but Nam brought bolt cutters. Tan filmed while whispering, "Nam, we could get expelled for this." Nam gave a dry laugh. "If we uncover the truth, it's worth it." The door creaked open, damp air poured out, carrying the same acrid scent of rust and old smoke. The benches were empty now, only faint handprints remained on the dusty floor. Hang set up the floodlight. The white beam swept the room. "There's nothing here, let's leave." Nam walked to the spot where the urn had fallen. A dark burn ring had spread wider since the last time. He bent down and picked up a small twisted piece of metal, engraved with the numbers **GV1985. Tan's voice quivered. "GV, that means lecturer, right?" Nam squinted. "Maybe, or a device code, but the engraving looks hand-carved." Hang hugged herself. "I heard there was an explosion here in '85. A professor died, but the school covered it up, said it was a lab accident gone wrong. Silence fell. Then, beep, beep. They turned. On one of the dusty tables, an ancient measurement device had switched on by itself. Its green screen flickered with waves of static, which slowly formed words. Do not repeat the mistake, asterisk. Tan backed away, camera shaking. Nam, it's writing something. Nam stepped closer, tapping the casing. That's impossible. There's no data left in this thing. The screen flickered again. New words appeared. Responsibility belongs to the living, asterisk. All three stood frozen. Wind slammed the door behind them, rattling the hinges. Hang began to sob. Nam, I can't take this. Let's go. Nam shook his head, voice hoarse. If someone really died here, they just want the truth to be known. He raised his phone, recording. Whoever you are, tell us what you want. I'll bring the truth to light. No reply, only the faint hiss of air. Then every machine went silent. The monitor faded to black. Only moonlight remained, shining through the small window onto the dust-covered bench. Tan whispered. Is it over? Nam nodded weakly. Yeah, let's leave. They walked out quietly, saying nothing. On the way back, Nam replayed the footage he'd just taken. When the device displayed the words asterisk, responsibility belongs to the living, asterisk, another faint line appeared below, lasting less than a second. Lahoang Nam, asterisk. Nam froze. A chill ran down his spine. He looked up at the Saigon sky, the full moon fractured behind drifting clouds. From afar came the sound of motorbikes and distant festival drums. Tan asked softly, You okay, Nam? Nam forced a thin smile. I'm fine, must be a glitch. But deep inside, he knew, every signal comes from somewhere. And this one wasn't finished. August and Hugh turned cold earlier than usual. On the mid-autumn night, a thin drizzle fell as wind from the perfume river carried the scent of wet earth and areca blossoms. Pham Thi Hong, a sophomore literature student, sat by the dorm window, watching the dim moon struggle behind a veil of clouds. Only she and her roommate Nhi remained in the room. The two were making lanterns from oiled paper, painting bright red and gold carp on them. Nhi chuckled. Come on, let's go watch the lion dance by the river. It'll be fun. Hong shook her head softly. I don't like crowds. I can see the moon just fine from here, and I'm tired anyway. Nhi frowned. You've been acting strange lately. You hardly sleep, always muttering in your dreams. What's going on? Hong lowered her eyes. I keep having the same dream. I'm standing by the river, and someone calls my name. It sounds like a lullaby, sad and distant. Nhi laughed lightly. You've been watching too many horror movies. Go to bed early. Hong only smiled faintly and said nothing more. The lights dimmed, leaving only the faint glow from the hallway. Outside, the festival drums faded, replaced by the rhythmic lap of river water. In the middle of the night, Hong woke with a start. The window was wide open, wind pouring in, cold enough to sting. Her heart pounded. Somewhere in the distance, a lullaby drifted through the rain, soft, slow, almost whispering. Oh oh, the bamboo sways in the breeze. The voice was delicate, like it rose from beneath the water. Hong swallowed hard, intending to close the window, but her feet moved toward the hallway instead. The tile floor was icy beneath her toes. The last light at the end of the corridor flickered weakly. Far ahead, a figure glided past, a white owl die swaying gently in the wind. Hong called out softly. Who's there? No answer, only the same lullaby. Drifting closer. Oh oh, the banana grove behind the house. She followed, down the stairs, across the courtyard. The iron gate was ajar. Beyond it a dirt path leading to the perfume river. The full moon hung low, spilling silver across the rippling water. On the riverbank sat a woman with long black hair cascading down her back, dressed in a white owl dye. Hong froze. Her heart slammed in her chest. The voice sang again, nearer this time. Oh, returning to a faraway home. Hong's voice trembled. Who are you? Why are you here so late? The woman tilted her head slightly, not turning around. Don't you remember me? The voice was hoarse, yet sounded like it rose straight from the river. Hong stumbled backward, slipping on the wet grass. She blinked. The riverbank was empty. Only mist hovered above the water, melting into the drizzle. By morning, NHI was shaking her awake. Hey, what happened to you? You're soaked. I thought you were gone. I couldn't find you all night. Hong opened her eyes, realizing she was lying on the dorm floor, her wrist wrapped in a red thread, one she didn't remember putting there. Her voice quavered. I saw a woman in white, she called my name. Ni's face drained of color. Don't say that. People here avoid talking about things like that. You must have been sleepwalking. Hong bit her lip and said nothing. She went to the sink and stared into the mirror. A faint bruise marked her neck, round, like the imprint of fingers. She splashed water on her face over and over, trying to steady her breathing. Outside, temple bells echoed through the fog. The scent of incense drifted in on the morning breeze, mingling with the chatter of villagers setting up offerings by the riverbank. And in Hong's mind, the lullaby returned, soft, distant, chilling. Oh, the late moon is cold tonight. By late afternoon, a soft-hued drizzle fell like mist. Hong sat in the dorm hallway, notebook in hand, trying to study, but every time the wind brushed past, she thought she heard that lullaby again, faint and distant. NHI stepped out, phone in hand, her voice excited. Hey, listen to this. Some seniors said there's an old shrine behind the school. If we make an offering tonight, we'll get good luck on exams. They say it works every time. Hong frowned. What shrine? The one sealed off behind the old banyan grove near Building C. They say it used to honor a goddess who helped students pass their tests. A chill ran down Hong's spine. That sounds creepy. Aren't you scared? NHI laughed. It's the Mid-Autumn Festival. We're just lighting incense and praying for good grades. Nothing scary. That night, the sky cleared. The full moon hung bright and round like a golden platter. The campus was silent except for the chirping of crickets and the damp smell of post-rain earth. Hong and NHI went with two friends, Koa and Mai, carrying incense, mooncakes, and sheets of gold paper. The path to the shrine was overgrown with grass reaching their knees. Up ahead, the massive old trees blocked most of the moonlight. The wooden gate leaned sideways, nearly broken. On a corroded brass plate, faint words were still legible. Shrine of Knowledge, no entry after dark, asterisk. Mai gulped. Probably just a scare tactic. Koa chuckled. We'll make our offering and leave. No big deal. They stepped inside. The air smelled of old incense and damp moss. In the courtyard stood a low altar, covered in dry leaves and melted wax. Behind it was a statue of a woman in an owl dye, holding a book, her face split by a deep crack. NHI placed the incense sticks and clasped her hands. Please, Lady of Learning, bless us with wisdom and success in our exams. Koa swept his phone's flashlight across the wall. Hey, there's writing here. In faded red paint were the words, Ask and you shall receive, but all debts must be repaid, asterisk. Mai read it aloud, then laughed nervously. Probably some old superstition. Hong shivered. Let's finish and go. But NHI insisted. Wait, they say you have to sing an old Hugh lullaby to make the prayer work. Koa clapped his hands. I know one. Oh. The bamboo sways in the breeze. Let's try it. NHI giggled and began to sing softly. Oh. The banana grove behind the house. The wind picked up, rustling through the trees. Hong's skin prickled, and she wanted to stop her, but NHI kept singing. Oh. returning to a faraway home. The incense flames suddenly flared bright, then died. Silence swallowed the courtyard. From above came a slow creak from the roof beams. Koa swallowed hard. Probably a cat. Mai whispered, trembling. No, there's someone up there. They all looked up. A faint white blur drifted across the roof, like the hem of a dress sliding over tiles. Koa shone his light, but saw nothing. A swarm of bats burst out, screeching into the night. Nhi stepped back. Let's go, now. Hong grabbed her arm, but froze. The statue's cracked face looked different. The fissure had widened into a smile. Cold sweat trickled down her neck. This isn't right, we're leaving. Koa waved her off. Relax, let me record a bit for fun. Don't, Hong hissed. But he was already filming, panning the light across the courtyard. The beam landed on an old stone well in the corner, its water black and still. Koa leaned closer. Hey, there's a doll down there. Mai yanked his sleeve. Stop, don't touch it. Koa poked a stick into the water. A single blup echoed. Then the water began to bubble violently. They stumbled backward. White foam surged upward, followed by a thin mist rising into the air. The smoke coiled toward the altar. The incense sticks ignited on their own, burning with bright orange flames. Nhi screamed. Run! The four bolted through the gate. Behind them, the lullaby rose again, stretched and distorted by the wind. Oh, ask and repay, life for life. That night, Hong couldn't sleep. On her desk, the incense sticks from earlier suddenly flared red, smoke rising straight up. In the mirror, a flash of light revealed a faint figure sitting behind her, there for an instant. Then gone. Her heartbeat thundered. Out in the corridor, the wind howled like a warped lullaby. Oh, the full moon, the debt remains unpaid. She clutched her head, whispering, Lady, I didn't pray for anything. I only followed them. The wind died. The light flickered, then went out. Darkness filled the room. On her desk, her open notebook now bore a line written in red ink. Tomorrow, return to the shrine and repay, asterisk. The next morning, rain poured endlessly over Hugh. Classes were cancelled. The schoolyard had turned into a shallow lake. Hong sat by the window, staring into the flooded garden as raindrops cascaded off the roof and pooled in the courtyard. On her desk, her notebook still lay open. The words asterisk, tomorrow, return to the shrine, and repay, asterisk were still there, dark and unblurred. She tried to rip the page out, but the paper clung stubbornly, it tore. Yet the words remained. Her hands trembled. She whispered, I'm not going anywhere. No matter what happens, I'm not going. Nhi spun around, alarmed. But I dreamt of the Lady of Learning last night. She was standing at the end of my bed, speaking in that Hugh accent. Asterisk, those who ask, must repay. I'm terrified. Hong grabbed her hand. It's just a dream. We're just scared, that's all. Nhi shook her head hard. No, when I woke up, there was incense ash on my desk. No one else came in. Silence filled the room. Hong knew she couldn't ignore it anymore. Outside, thunder rolled, and the storm clouds pressed low over the city, heavy and gray. By nightfall, the rain had eased. Hong decided to go back to the shrine, bringing a bundle of incense and some mooncakes. Nhi begged to go along, but Hong refused. I had to do this alone. If I don't come back, tell the dorm supervisor. Don't follow me. Wearing a raincoat and a conical hat, Hong waded through ankle-deep water. The moon hid behind clouds, its pale glow barely lighting the path. The shrine gate stood open, though they had locked it the night before. Wind hissed through the trees, carrying the faint scent of old incense. Hong stepped inside, her heart heavy. The altar was still there, but the statue of the Lady of Learning had toppled sideways, cracked deeper across the face. 3 incense sticks burned on the altar, fresh, There's smoke rising straight into the damp air. Hong looked around. Who lit these? No answer. Just the sound of water dripping from the roof into the stone well. She knelt down, hands clasped. I'm sorry. I didn't mean any harm. I only wanted to study well. A gust of wind blew through, scattering ash onto her lap. From the corner of the shrine, the lullaby began again, slow, mournful. Oh, ask and repay, life for life. Hong's voice trembled. I don't want anyone to be hurt. Please, forgive us. The old curtain fluttered violently, revealing a narrow gap in the back wall, stone steps leading downward. She hesitated, then turned on her flashlight and descended. The underground chamber was freezing. Moss covered the walls, water dripped from above. At the end stood a smaller altar, with a broken gravestone carved with the name Tran Twa and the words beneath. Caretaker of the shrine 1936. Hong's pulse quickened. Beside the stone lay an old notebook, its pages yellowed with age. She opened it carefully and read. Mid-autumn, 1936. 3 students came to pray for good exam results. They sang the lullaby with the wrong words. The lady grew angry. The lights went out. All 3 were taken into the well. I swore an oath to guard this place, to keep others from repeating their mistake. If anyone sings it wrong again, they must pay with their dreams. Hong froze. Dreams? She remembered the voice by the river, calling her name each night. It hadn't been a dream at all. On the damp wall, trickles of water formed faint letters. Under the flashlight, she could make out a red-stained message. Never forget, knowledge must come with sincerity, not greed. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I understand now. I won't ask for anything anymore. She lit one final incense stick and placed the notebook back on the altar. Then from above, a voice called out, Hong, where are you? It was Nhi. Hong climbed up quickly. Nhi was standing at the entrance, pale as chalk. My God, why'd you go down there? I was so scared. Hong squeezed her hand. It's over now, let's go home. They walked away from the shrine. Behind them, silence returned. The wind stilled, the moon slipped free of the clouds, bathing the courtyard in silver light. The next morning, the rain had stopped. Students gathered in the courtyard, chattering about classes resuming. As Hong passed the old path, she noticed a new signboard. Shrine closed for restoration, *. Her chest felt lighter. Beside her, Nhi smiled softly. Last night, I dreamt of an old woman in a white ao dai. She thanked us, said she could finally rest. Hong nodded. Yes, it's done. From somewhere across the river, temple bells echoed through the morning sun. Children's lanterns floated gently down the perfume river, their light shimmering on the ripples. Hong inhaled deeply, the scent of incense and areca blossoms mingling in the fresh air. In her heart, she knew, some blessings aren't meant to be begged for. They come when one lives with sincerity. Early autumn in Hanoi brought crisp winds and golden leaves swirling around the old university dormitory. Lan stood at the campus gate, holding an invitation to the Folk Culture Symposium, National University. Scanning the list of speakers, one name made her freeze. La Hoang Nam, Ho Chi Minh City University of Technology. Strange, what a coincidence, she muttered, slipping the paper into her pocket. Above, a faint crescent moon peeked through drifting clouds. The night wind carried a whiff of burnt incense, sharp and lingering. Lan shivered. No way, the Mid-Autumn Festival isn't even here yet. The next morning, the symposium began. The auditorium buzzed with professors and students from across the country. Lan sat in the second row, glancing toward the panel. A young man in a white shirt and glasses adjusted his microphone. She recognized him instantly, the same face she'd once seen in viral TikTok clips, Hoang Nam. When he looked up, their eyes met for just a moment. He smiled faintly, but something in that smile made her uneasy. As if another presence behind it was also watching. A soft voice broke her thoughts. Kailan? I'm Hong, from the University of Education in Hue. I came with my advisor. Lan turned and saw a pale, delicate girl with tired eyes. Oh, hello. You're studying folklore too? Hong nodded timidly. Yes, I'm researching folk rituals about prayers for academic success. But I think something followed me here. Lan blinked. What do you mean? Hong lowered her gaze. I dreamt of the Lady of the Shrine. She said, when the full moon comes, someone must return to where it all began, to end it, Nam, sitting a few seats ahead, overheard them and turned around, half curious, half nervous. Excuse me, that's quite a story. You don't actually believe those superstitions, do you? Lan smirked slightly. You don't? Then have you ever heard machines turn on by themselves in the middle of the night? Nam's face twitched. His hand trembled just a little. By afternoon, the symposium broke for recess. The three of them strolled down a quiet stone path behind the lecture hall. The air was still, heavy with unspoken dread. Hong whispered, "Have either of you noticed anything strange since yesterday?" Lan nodded slowly. I heard footsteps in my dorm hallway. The door was locked. Nam sighed. I saw words flash on my laptop screen, return justice. When I shut it off, the power light turned red, like blood. They stopped walking. The last cicadas of the season buzzed faintly, then fell silent. Lan murmured, "Maybe the curse isn't over. Maybe something's pulling the three of us together." Hong reached into her pocket and pulled out an old, yellowed slip of paper with red trim. I found this buried under the shrine floor in Hue. Look, 3 names written in old Chinese characters. She handed it over. Lan's stomach dropped. Nguyen Ti Lan, La Hoang Nam, Pham Ti Hong. The three stared at each other in shock. Nam's voice shook. This is impossible. How could our names be on something over 100 years old? Lan bit her lip. Maybe we were chosen. This isn't coincidence. That night, in his hotel room, Nam opened his laptop. He replayed the old footage from the abandoned lab. At frame 13, the screen jolted violently, and a distorted, burnt face appeared, mangled like metal under pressure. A mechanical voice whispered through the speakers. 3 must return to where it began, on the full moon, only then, release. Nam hurled the laptop aside, drenched in sweat. He grabbed his phone. Lan, Hong, we need to meet. Tomorrow night. The next evening, they gathered at a small cafe near West Lake. The river wind carried a chill, mixed with faint incense from Tran Quoc Pagoda. Hong opened her phone and played a voice recording she'd captured by accident the night before. 3 young women's voices overlapped, haunting and melodic. Pray wrong and pay, march wrong and fall, sing wrong and return. When the full moon breaks, they shall come back with me. Lan's face drained of color. Tomorrow night is the mid-autumn full moon. What does it mean? Nam spoke quietly. 3 places, 3 sins, 3 souls. We'll have to return together, to where the curse began. Hong whispered. Where is that? Lan looked out over the black water, her voice trembling. At the old stone stele near the dorms of the National University. The place where I misread the chant. That's where it started. The wind gusted hard, spilling coffee across the table. They fell silent. Far above, a sliver of moon rose, sharp as a blade. A faint hiss brushed their ears, soft, mocking laughter carried on the breeze. Full moon, I'll be waiting. Hong clutched Lan's cold hand. Nam scanned the dark street, a bead of sweat tracing his temple. They all knew then, no matter how much they wanted to run. This mid-autumn night, they would have to return to where the curse began. The full moon night. Hanoi's sky was choked with heavy black clouds. The moon crawled upward behind the old dormitory buildings, glowing crimson through the seams of the clouds, like veins of spilled blood. Lan stood before the rusted wire fence of the abandoned dorm. A crooked sign hung loosely. Restricted area, danger, Nam switched on his flashlight, the beam cutting through the mist. 10 years, and they still haven't torn this place down. No wonder it feels haunted. Hong clutched an old notebook to her chest. The lady at the shrine once said, you must pay with your dreams. Maybe tonight is the last dream. Lan's voice was steady but low. No, it's real. We have to end it before it takes anyone else. They slipped through the fence, the metal screeching as it bent. A wave of cold air swept over them, sharp as knives. The smell of rust, wet incense, and mildew filled the courtyard. Broken benches lay scattered under thick piles of dead leaves. Lan's flashlight swept across the center, where a cracked stone stele stood, half buried in moss. The old inscription still glimmered faintly. Those who defy the taboo will pay when the moon is full, Nam crouched down, wiping dust away with his sleeve. So this is where it all began. Suddenly, the light flickered. A child's voice echoed from nowhere, soft and eerie. You came at last? I've waited so long. Hong stumbled back, her voice trembling. You heard that, right? A kid's voice. Lan steadied herself. Don't panic. Maybe it just wants us to finish the ritual properly. Nam frowned. What ritual? Hong flipped open the notebook, pointing to a faded line. Light 3 incense sticks. Sing the lullaby again with the wrong verse. If the moon turns red, hold each other's hands and don't let go. Nam's jaw tightened. Sing it wrong? That's the summoning verse. Lan looked at both of them, determination in her eyes. We have no choice. They knelt before the stele. Lan struck a match. The wind blew it out twice. On the third try, the flame caught, casting a sickly gold glow. Thick incense smoke curled upward, swirling like breath in cold air. Lan began softly, her voice trembling. Oh, moonlight on the lantern, students pray for peace and wisdom. The melody quivered, breaking midline. Instantly, the wind roared, leaves spiraled upward. The blood-red moon shone brighter, its light pooling over the stele, now oozing dark, tar like liquid. Nam gripped their hands. Hold on, don't let go. The ground trembled beneath them. Whispers rose in the wind, overlapping, chanting. 3 who called us, must repay us. Hong cried out. No, we came to end it. No one else has to die. From the shadows, figures began to emerge, students in old uniforms. Faces pale, eyes hollow, mouths stretched in silent screams. On their shirts, smeared in red paint, were the words, return justice, Lan gasped. Oh God, it's them, the ones who vanished years ago. A woman's shape stepped forward, hair disheveled, neck bruised as if by a rope. Her voice rasped, fragmented. You spoke my name wrong, trapped me between worlds? Return the offering? Lan wept. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was just curious. Hong flipped to the final passage in the notebook, reading aloud through tears. When the guilty show remorse, offer fire and wind, and the spirit will rest. She looked to Nam. Fire and wind, we have to burn the stele. Without hesitation, Nam flicked his lighter and set fire to the dry grass around it. Flames leapt high, reflecting the red moon above. Smoke whirled in spirals, the ghostly figures dissolved into mist. The woman's voice faded with the wind, soft, almost peaceful. Thank you for giving me back my name. Lan collapsed, unconscious. Nam and Hong dragged her toward the courtyard steps as the fire blazed behind them. The stele cracked, then shattered. A column of white light shot upward, dispersing into the night sky. When they finally stopped at the lecture hall stairs, the red moon had turned pale once more. Silence settled over the campus. Nam slumped against the wall, gasping. It's over, right? Lan opened her eyes weakly. I saw them smile. I think they're free now. Hong threw her arms around them, laughing through tears. We're alive. Thank heaven, we're alive. But then, from somewhere far off, came the faint voice of a child, whispering, "And what about me?" They turned sharply. Only a torn paper lantern hung from a tree branch, swaying gently in the wind. Its candle flickered once, then went out. Lan gripped their hands, her voice shaking. Let's go, before it comes back. The next morning, Hanoi was unusually quiet. No cicadas, no wind, only a white mist drifting over the schoolyard. Lan opened her eyes and found herself lying in the infirmary. Beside her, Hong was dozing off, and Nam sat slumped in a chair, elbows on knees, dark circles under his eyes. Lan stirred weakly. It's over, right? Nam nodded faintly. The guard found us unconscious at the dorm gate. He said he saw smoke and thought there was a fire. Now the whole area's sealed off. Hong woke up, her voice soft and uncertain. I dreamed of her, gray hair, kind smile. She said we'd repaid our debt, but something's still missing. Lan frowned. Missing what? Hong gripped the blanket tightly, her gaze empty. Missing the farewell. Nam furrowed his brow. What farewell? They all fell silent. In the corner of the room, the white curtain stirred slightly, though the window was shut. A faint lullaby rose in the still air, the same voice they'd heard every night. Oh, oh. Students light their lamps, forgetting to thank the keeper of the shrine. Lan's spine went cold. She hasn't left, has she? That afternoon, the three went to the Delitzsch River with incense and mooncakes. The wind was chilly, the water murky, and the setting sun cast a golden haze over the banks. Lan clasped her hands together, praying softly. Madam, we know our mistake. We return the light, the prayer, and our respect. Please rest in peace, and let us live in peace. Hong placed the incense, while Nam set the old paper lantern afloat. The flame flickered, then steadied, drifting slowly down the current. Suddenly, a strange gust swept across the river, unnaturally strong. The lantern rocked violently, about to go out. Nam reached forward to steady it, but the river water turned icy cold, gripping his wrist as if a hand had pulled him down. Hong screamed. Nam, let go. He yanked his arm back, gasping. 5 small handprints were seared into his skin, deep and red. Nam trembled. Something was down there? Lan dragged them both back to the shore. The lantern was still burning, but its light had turned white. Pure and blinding. In that glow, the faint image of an old woman appeared over the water. She smiled gently and bowed. Her voice drifted like the wind. Thank you. Children, study well. Remember, kindness matters more than offerings. Then the light vanished. The river fell silent once more. Only a few petals floated away on the current. That night, Lan couldn't sleep. She sat on the balcony, gazing at the pale crescent moon. It was no longer red, only a faint milky hue. A message came from Nam. I saw her in a dream. She smiled. I think it's finally over. Lan replied. Yeah, but I still hear the lullaby. Faintly, like she's still around, watching us. Moments later, Hong sent a photo of the river. The lantern's glowing again, in the middle of the water, even though we already left. Lan stared at the photo for a long time. In the faint light, the lantern drifted on the surface. But its reflection showed not 3 people, but 4. A woman in a white dye stood beside them, hair cascading down her shoulders. Lan shivered. She's still here. A week later, the university held a memorial for the minor dorm fire. Lan, Nam, and Hong were invited to speak. As they stood on stage, the microphone crackled, then the same haunting lullaby echoed across the hall. Oh, oh. Students pray to the light. Remember not to forget the rites. The entire room froze. Nam glanced down, and under the podium, A drenched paper lantern flickered weakly. Still burning. He looked at Lan. Lan nodded softly and whispered, "Maybe she stayed, to remind us to live kindly." After that day, each returned to their own life. Lan pursued her master's degree. Nam started a tech channel. Hong became a folklore lecturer in Hue. None of them ever saw another ghost. But every mid-autumn season, when the autumn breeze swept through, they would hear that distant lullaby again. Oh oh, may the moonlight guide you, live kindly, learn well, and peace shall follow. And somewhere on campus, a faded lantern still hung from an old tree branch, its weak glow watching gently over those who passed. Dash dash dash. 3 people, 3 fears, 3 souls redeemed. But one lesson remained. Never meddle with what is forbidden. Some rituals are not meant for the living. Some spirits only wish to be remembered, never summoned. Thank you for watching ***. Bong Toi Trong Dem, Darkness in the Night. If you ever hear a lullaby under a full moon, press your hands together and whisper, "May the departed rest in peace." Because perhaps they're standing right behind you. Dash dash dash. And that's the end of tonight's story. My friends. Feeling a chill down your spine? Just remember, some ghost stories aren't meant to scare, but to remind us to live with kindness and conscience. When your heart is good and your thoughts are pure, even spirits will keep their distance. If you enjoy stories like this, please subscribe to Bong Toi Trong Dem, click like, share, and turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss the next haunting tale. See you again, tomorrow night, when the wind calls the names of souls who still wander. Dash dash dash. Disclaimer. This story is a work of fiction created for entertainment purposes. Meant to deliver a thrilling, atmospheric experience to the audience. We do not promote superstition or encourage any dangerous or ritualistic behavior mentioned in the story. Any resemblance to real individuals, places, or events is purely coincidental. Thank you for staying with ***Bong Toi Trong Dem.